Hey, what's going on everyone? Hawks21 here, back with another Splinterlands video. So a little different one today. I sort of just want to have an open discussion, I guess, with myself, and then hope you guys can provide some comments and some feedback on this idea that I'm having, which is to create a Splinterlands newsletter. And how I think I would want to do it is sort of a weekly blast to your email with a bunch of Splinterlands information that I don't think is fit for YouTube video format. And I think there's a lot of it, and I'm going to run through some of those ideas I have, but would love to hear sort of what you think. Do you think a newsletter is a good idea, bad idea? Is this something you would consume? Is there, do you have any ideas for what you would want included in a newsletter? Watch this video, and then I would love some of that feedback. But I basically had this idea because right now, when I'm really going into like Splinterlands, there are times where I need to have 7, 8, 9, 10 tabs open to sort of keep track of all of this important information that I utilize in the game. And I think a newsletter would be a great place to bring all of that together in like a really easy consumable format, so you don't have to be checking a bunch of different sources at once. And I'm going to run through some of that right now. Even if you go to shop, right, packs, this chaos counter, right? It's hard to keep track sort of day over day, week over week, how much this number is going up. And like right now, I know I'm going to need to buy a few more packs in order to guarantee myself 3 airdrops of the next legendary airdrop. So I'm keeping a close eye on this, right? But it's something I sort of either need to write down or remember to track day over day to see how much we're increasing and project out, all right, when do I need this capital ready to buy like 75 to 100 more packs to make sure I get all the airdrops that I want. So what I would do is I would track it for you, sort of week over week, how many chaos packs are being sold, and then using that number sort of project out, if we kept up this rate, at what point would we hit the next airdrop? What point would we hit the airdrop after that? At what point would chaos completely sell out? This is all really important information that unless you're coming here day over day and tracking, it's hard to sort of realize those run rates and when we're going to sell out. There's so much other data, right? So like if you go to Peak Monsters, for example, there's so much transactions data, battle data, new accounts, market data, new players, spell books. There's so much stuff that I think I could do with this data and put it into a really consumable format. Another tab I have open are the print rates of the reward cards. This is really important as I think about, where am I at with these reward cards as their print rate gets higher and higher, and we get closer to 100%, in which case you're no longer going to be able to get these in the daily quests. So, this information is great, but I don't think we really need, these 4 middle tabs. What I would basically do is take this table with the print rate and the current cost, and then see week over week how that's changed, right? I think some of these releases are random, as you can see, like the comments are all pretty close, but like, why has this rare been released more than this rare, or this epic released more than this epic, or why have the legendaries been released more than some of the rares? This is just good stuff to track as we get close to the 100%. But again, I've already had to go to 3 sites to do that, right? I was here for the chaos counter. Peak Monsters has all of this data. This GitHub site that someone runs, which is amazing, that you might not even I don't even remember how I found this site to give these, but another site you need to check and be able to track. Splinter cards, another place. There are so many tools here for like pack values, if it wants to load. Loot chest values, right? So you get towards the end of the season, and is it worth it for you to spend some DEC to rent to get 5 more chests end of season? These are all things you need to track and be on top of. It's already 4 different sites and like tons of different data points from each site, and they're all like extremely valuable information you need if you're truly going to if you're looking to build up your account in this game. So the main reason that I got thinking about this newsletter idea is one place to centralize I know centralize is kind of a dirty word in the crypto space, but to centralize all of this information in an easy consumable format for you every single week. So instead of like having to go to all of these sites on your own, every week I'm going to do it for you in a really easy format in one place. And then I started thinking, what else would I include in that? And I think there's a few ideas I have. So, if you go to YouTube, there's obviously a ton of different content creators now making Splinterlands content. And it's hard to keep track of all of it, right? Like, you're not going to be able to watch like a bunch of different videos. So what I could do is sort of give you my, 3, 4, 5 favorite videos of the week of different content creators, not myself, that I enjoyed, and then provide a little commentary of my own, right? So I become a little bit of a filter for you. What content is worth consuming. Not to say it all isn't worth consuming, but just realistically, you're not going to have time to watch everyone's videos. This newsletter can sort of operate as a little filter for you to see, at least in my opinion, what was the best that we saw of that week and sort of why I liked it. Maybe I disagree with it, but I think it's thought-provoking. Just a good place for that. Also, the town hall summaries. So there are plenty of people who are, making 30-minute long videos, going over the town halls, writing these big blog posts. But what if I gave you 4 or 5 sort of bullet points of what the major takeaways were, right? Like just a really easy, quick way to consume the town halls, assuming you're not going to watch them for, 2.5 hours like I do. Other ideas were sort of the favorite battles that I've had during the week. There are a ton of like really fun, entertaining battles that I have that don't really fit a YouTube video format, right? Either because they're one-off based on like a weird matchup with my opponent, a weird combination of rule sets, something that's not really repeatable, or, a weird thing happened that I want to show you that battle, but I'm not going to make a YouTube video for, a minute just to show you this weird battle that you'll probably never see again. But this newsletter could be a good place for that, and you can see some fun, entertaining one-off situations. I had one the other day that we ran Kitty versus Kitty with 2 Pellicore Deceivers, and I included a Fiend and he didn't, so we didn't get a mirror match, and it was just based off sort of turn order, and I ended up winning in fatigue. It was a really weird, fun battle that I would love to show you, but I'm not going to make a YouTube video over it because it would be a minute long and not really give you that much usable information. It's just entertaining. Another thing I could do is highlight an individual card every week. I don't want to make a bunch of YouTube videos sort of highlighting the pros and cons of every single card in Splinterlands at every single level, or every single league, I should say. But this is a place I could do that, right? Like every week I pick a new card and just walk through like, here's what I think of this card. Here are the pros, here are the cons. Is it useful at bronze, silver, gold? Maybe it's a card that you can completely ignore if you're playing in bronze or gold, but it's a must-have, bronze or silver, but it's a must-have if you're playing at gold or higher. This is just a space for me to do that. And then finally, I've gotten a few questions, some privately in like Twitter DMs and stuff, about my experience blogging. So if you didn't know, basically every YouTube video I post, I also post on 3Speak, which is a decentralized YouTube, and they automatically get sent out to Peak, which is a Hive blog, and I get rewarded on here when people like my posts. So 0.38 Hive for this one, and Hive's about $1 right now, so it's not insignificant. I had one big one the other day. Yeah, so almost 11 Hive. I had 3Speak itself actually liked this one, which gave me almost 6 Hive. It's about $10 for posting a blog. So that would be a place where I can sort of track my monetization journey. I know a lot of people are interested in that type of stuff. So I'm pulling in Hive from Peak. I'm pulling in Splinter Talk token from having them posted on Splinter Talk, some Leo Finance token, some 1UP token. And eventually, as hopefully I get to YouTube monetization, and that's another place I can track that. But yeah, so I just ran through some rough thoughts of ideas I had for a newsletter. The main goal would be to take all of this incredibly useful information and bring it all into one place that you're going to get every week, and that you can rely on to save you time, sort of exploring on your own, right? I'd be curious to hear what you guys think of this idea. I'm probably going to do it. Just before I got all into it, I want, maybe if you guys all hate it and you say you're not going to consume it, I won't bother. But I think it's a really good idea, and it's something I want to do. But I'm also throwing this out there because I want your thoughts and ideas, right? Like, what am I missing? What am I not thinking about? What would be a great thing to put into this weekly newsletter that, doesn't really fit into YouTube or Twitter? You guys are following this game. If you're watching my videos, you're obviously very interested in this game and you're following it just like I am. So I want to create something that's useful and usable by, everyone who loves the game. So I'm very curious to hear your thoughts and ideas, and I would love to implement them into what I'm working on creating. But yeah, that's all I have for today. Different type of video, but as I sort of expand and want to provide more content to you, I want your feedback so I can be creating exactly what you guys want. If you appreciate, I appreciate you being here. And if you enjoyed the video, I'd love it if you could like and subscribe. I'm really trying to push out as much content as possible in different formats, and I really appreciate all of your early support. I will talk to you soon and see you around the game.